During the day, the savannah glowed with shades of gold and green. Tall grasses swayed in the light breeze, and acacia trees cast soft shadows on the ground. Rangers drove slowly along a winding trail in an open jeep, carefully scanning the surroundings. 3 men in beige shirts and green trousers, all fair-skinned, watched the animals to make sure no one was in trouble. Cameras clicked quietly, capturing the morning life of the savannah, and only a light trail of dust behind the car disturbed the tranquility. One of the rangers noticed movement in the tall grass. A small giraffe calf, stepping anxiously, was entangled in pieces of old barbed wire left over from an abandoned fence. Its front leg was caught, but the animal was not injured. It just moved its head in confusion and looked around carefully. The sunlight reflected softly off its spotted skin, emphasizing its fragility and defenselessness. The scene looked tense, but at the same time, touching. The rangers stopped the jeep and carefully got out. They exchanged glances, dividing up the roles. One distracted the baby with a soft voice, another approached its leg, and a third watched over the safety of the surroundings. Their movements were slow and confident, so as not to scare the baby giraffe. This scene conveyed a sense of coordination and determination. Everyone understood that the goal was to safely free the animal from its predicament. The rangers quickly approached the jeep and began to prepare for work. One of the men took wire cutters and thick gloves out of the trunk, checked their strength, and returned to the baby giraffe. The others watched the baby closely, trying to keep it calm. The sun's rays fell softly on the tall grass, illuminating the animal's spotted skin and emphasizing its tremulous excitement. The wind barely stirred the dry stalks, creating the feeling that everything around was holding its breath in anticipation. One of the rescuers slowly leaned toward the giraffe calf's front leg, where barbed wire was caught. He held the tool confidently, but acted with extreme caution so as not to cause the baby unnecessary stress. The second ranger stood nearby, ready to help and hold the wire if it suddenly tightened. The baby giraffe froze, watching the people's movements, while the sunlight softly illuminated their faces and their precise, attentive gestures. Finally, the rescuer carefully inserted the blades of the wire cutters between the coils of wire and cut through the metal with little effort. The dry sound of the break rang out loudly in the quiet savannah. The wire loosened, and the baby giraffe's leg was free. The baby carefully stepped forward, getting used to the new sensation, and the rangers exchanged glances and smiled with relief. The first step toward its rescue had been taken. The sun was high above the savannah, bathing the golden grass in soft light. The baby giraffe was already standing on its free leg, stepping lightly, and looking back at the people who had just helped it out of the trap. It looked wary, but felt calmer next to its rescuers. Their quiet voices and measured movements created an atmosphere of safety. One of the rescuers took soft wipes and antiseptic solution out of his bag. He carefully leaned over the giraffe calf's front leg and began to clean the light scratches of dust and small blades of grass. The rest of the team held the animal by the neck and shoulders so that it would not jerk and injure itself again. Their attentiveness showed how important it was to maintain trust between humans and animals. When the skin was clean, the rescuers took out elastic bandages and carefully applied them to the leg. The white bandages lay flat, securing the area where the wire had been and protecting it from further damage. The giraffe calf flinched slightly, but did not resist, and then, feeling relief, breathed quietly and froze, allowing the bandaging to be completed. The giraffe calf was carefully lifted onto a sturdy stretcher and gently placed in the spacious open-top truck bed. Rescuers secured it with soft straps so that it would not shift during the journey and injure itself. Before setting off, one of the men checked that the bandage on the front leg was secure and gently encouraged the baby by stroking its neck. The vehicle slowly set off along the sandy road, surrounded by bright savanna with tall grass and sparse trees. The wind ruffled his short mane and carried the scent of warm earth and fresh leaves. After a while, they entered a fenced-in private area. A cozy green plot with awnings and wooden fences prepared specifically for the temporary care of animals. Everything was already ready here. Under a wide awning lay a fresh armful of hay, and next to it gleamed a large barrel of clean water. One of the rescuers opened the gate, while the others carefully led the giraffe calf out, helping it to keep its balance on the grass. It stepped a little uncertainly, but already felt that it had come to a place where nothing threatened it. The rescuers patiently calmed the baby. One gently stroked his neck, while another placed a bucket of cool water nearby. The giraffe calf slowly bent down, took a few cautious sips, and, feeling refreshed, stretched toward the soft hay. He chewed slowly, as if tasting new food, while dust particles swirled around him in the sunlight, filling the air with a sense of peace. Here, surrounded by caring hands and tranquil nature, his road to recovery began. Rescuers carefully led the baby giraffe to a spacious enclosure bathed in soft daylight. A large bucket of clean water and several armfuls of fresh hay had already been prepared for him. One of the men filled the bucket and used a soft sponge to gently wash the dust and traces of grass left on the baby's coat after his ordeal. The warm sun reflected off the smooth patches of its skin, and the baby giraffe stood quietly, looking trustingly at the people, and sometimes flinching slightly when the sponge touched sensitive areas near the bandage on its leg. Two other rescuers carefully examined the bandage, checking that it was not too tight, and making sure that movement did not cause pain. After the baby was thoroughly washed of dust and dirt, he was gently led to a cozy shelter with a thick layer of soft hay. There he was able to rest peacefully and quench his thirst from a large drinking trough, and then he began to chew hay slowly, occasionally raising his head and looking around. His gaze became clearer, his gait more stable, and even his breathing sounded more even now. The rescuers, standing a little to the side, watched with relief as he gradually calmed down and gathered strength for the new stage of his life. Rescuers slowly opened the wooden gate of the fenced-in area where the baby giraffe had spent the last few days. One of them gently nudged him forward, showing him the way to freedom. The little one paused for a moment, looked back at the people who had helped him recover, and cautiously stepped over the fence. Its long neck stretched upward, its ears twitching alertly, as if trying to catch the new smells and sounds of the savannah. A light breeze rustled the dry grass, and in the distance, the slender silhouettes of other giraffes could already be seen. A few moments later, the baby giraffe boldly made his way toward his fellow giraffes, who were peacefully nibbling on leaves from the low acacia trees. He confidently raised his head and quickened his pace, as if recognizing their scent and the call of nature. The group of adult and young giraffes welcomed the newcomer warmly. Several animals approached him, gently touched him with their muzzles, and made it clear that they accepted him into the herd. The rescuers, watching from a distance, smiled happily as they saw their charge return to his normal life in the wild. Every animal saved is a reminder that care and kindness can change the fate of even the most fragile life. When humans and nature come together, a chance for a new story full of hope and freedom is born. Thank you for watching until the end. Please like and subscribe to our channel to support us. See you next time.